You were recently featured in a Time magazine article discussing the Democrats' reboot. And you had said something that really stuck out to me. Can you elaborate on more of what that was like in practice and how can we change that?
Yeah, so it was really frustrating just thinking back to that because, the Democratic Party had been in the minority in the House for almost a decade. And so finally, I think because so many of us were motivated by what Donald Trump was doing when he got into office, and we built this huge blue wave. And so in the 11th District of New Jersey, I had the largest swing in the entire nation. So from Republican to Democrat. We built this juggernaut of a campaign in a district that was considered unwinnable when I started, that Trump had won. I thought, wow, this is going to be really interesting to the Democratic Party because we cracked the code on winning back so many voters who had stopped voting for Democrats, who had not been engaged, and we engaged them. And we had this juggernaut of a campaign. We had all these members in these tough districts who were coming in to Washington, and I thought, we're going to have these meetings and we're going to discuss what just happened and why it happened and what we built. And I know you're kind of laughing. I know I was naive. It was my first time.
I don't blame you because I still am holding out hope that they'll do this today.
Right.
We're talking about 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Exactly. And so here, and there was instead what we found was we go to some of our first caucus meetings and we find this group of people that every time one of the new members spoke up, there was this derisive attitude like, hey, pipe down. We've been here. You haven't. Not interested. This is how we do things here. And I think so many of us were just sort of like, that's not how we roll. We come from these other places where we've really had leadership roles and we've taken on responsibilities and we feel deeply committed to the people that we made commitments to back at home. So it's not okay to come down here and wait 20 years until we get a chairmanship on some committee and speak up then. In fact, I remember being told, hey, in 20 years, you might be able to do something, if you work hard. And I'm like, seriously, I might not be here in 2 years. I'm in a Trump district.
Maybe you can help me come up with a more elegant way to say this, but I find that this isn't the only situation where I kind of want to retort with such a comment, but it is something to the effect of, okay, so the approval rating for Congress, the body that you've all been running for ever, is what, in the 20%? So tell me, what are you all doing right?